It's not that traumatic to me. As long as we are still able to raise kids, I guess it doesn't necessarily matter where they came from.
Mark and Heather Litynski were married less than a year before Mark, a Marine Lance Corporal, shipped out to Afghanistan. In November 2010, an IED blast erupted beneath him. 15 months later, he's still in recovery at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland.
I lost both legs above the knee, left arm above the elbow. I lost both testicles, broken pelvis, penile degloving, surgery on my stomach to pull out the shrapnel.
Since 2005, more than 1,800 young Americans have suffered a genital injury in combat. For young couples, it can be a devastating wound that strains relationships and can dash their hopes of starting a family.
First words out of his mouth were, "I'm so sorry." And I almost laughed, like, why are you apologizing to me?
I knew that this was a possibility, a likely possibility, before I went over there, and I intended on freezing sperm, so it was kind of a kick in the pants, I guess, when it actually happened.
It took me back when I heard about the loss of testicles for the purposes of just, raising a family.
Like with everything else that happens, you just, kind of move on. It's disappointing, I guess, but we will still have kids either through in vitro, adoption.
Both ways are very expensive. So much has been done and given to us because of his combat injuries, which is wonderful, but there's this huge gaping hole in the subject of alternate family planning.
Surgeons were able to save Mark's penis, and his other wounds gradually healed. But Mark and Heather were astonished to learn that their military health insurance specifically excludes fertility treatments, which Heather will need to have children. And they were frustrated that no one at Walter Reed was able to help them regain the intimacy and sexual relations they'd once enjoyed.
Every time we would go to the doctor, it was always kind of awkward and embarrassing. I would have to bring it up and ask them because they never asked us.
It has created some stress, with my decreased sex drive. For me, it's not a priority, but she still has all her regular feelings, so it's a lot more frustrating for her than it is for me.
He was very affectionate before, and he used to always have his arm around me, would hold my hand, and I was noticing, even once he was getting past the trauma part and getting better, that those behaviors still were not coming back.
And it wasn't until just recently that I feel we were put in contact with the specialist that had the know-how to really handle it.
When I brought it up,
Mm-hmm.
after I brought it up. It's not often that a reporter plays a part in the story, but I had interviewed the doctor at Walter Reed who specializes in helping patients with sexual dysfunction. When I mentioned this doctor to Mark and Heather, though, they'd never heard of him. Within days, they had met, and he put Mark on new medication which should help restore his sex drive. Finally, they'd gotten some answers. I asked Mark if he was at peace with the way things have turned out, and he never hesitated. Serving his country in Afghanistan, he said, was worth it.
Not just for the United States, our citizens, but we're over there making a difference for the people of Afghanistan. I wouldn't change it for anything.